last stages of the pregnancy, and it's hard to feel special. And I think Christine's doing a phenomenal job here, so that'll be fun. I'm taking any boys that want to go, and I'm getting out of here.
She looks better than I do.
It's the kind of rumor that spreads like wildfire in sister wives circles, the kind that has fans whispering, speculating, and hitting replay just to catch every detail. Robyn Brown, the most controversial wife in the Brown family, is once again at the center of it all. A mystery illness that's been discussed but never fully explained is raising more eyebrows than ever. And now, there's an entirely new twist. Kody Brown spotted in Las Vegas with Robyn's younger sister. The timing, the optics, the history in this family, it's all too much to ignore. Hi friends, Sarah here with TLC Sister Wives Daily. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss the real stories behind the drama, and let me know in the comments what you think about what's been going down lately. Because whether you love Robyn, can't stand her, or just want answers, this one is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about the Browns. We're talking about a health story that's been woven into the family narrative for years, rules that shook the entire household during the pandemic, and now a sighting that has the fan base wondering if history might repeat itself in a way nobody saw coming. The stakes for the Browns have never felt higher, and every move they make is playing out under a microscope. This isn't just reality TV. It's a family unraveling in real time, and all of us are watching. From the moment Robyn joined the Brown family on Sister Wives, her storyline has often included conversations about her health. On camera, she's spoken about living with hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's disease, autoimmune conditions that can cause fatigue, weight changes, and mood shifts, as well as bouts of hypoglycemia, which require her to eat on schedule to avoid feeling faint or dizzy. These admissions weren't tossed in as side notes. They were often woven into family discussions, especially when Robyn talked about needing extra rest or adjusting her routine to manage her symptoms. Fans first started to notice the emphasis on these health challenges in the earlier seasons, when scenes showed Robyn mentioning how her body doesn't handle stress well, and how she had to be careful to stay on top of her eating schedule. These moments often coincided with her explaining why she sometimes needed additional help around the house or with her kids, help that, in the family's own words, other wives didn't necessarily have to the same extent. One key example came when Kody, Christine's daughter, moved in with Robyn for a time. On the show, this arrangement was presented as mutually beneficial. Kody would be closer to Robyn and her kids, and in turn, she could assist with household tasks, errands, and childcare. The official explanation was framed as family helping family, nothing unusual in polygamy, but in the context of Robyn's ongoing health conversations, it also reinforced the idea that her household operated with an extra layer of support. Looking back, viewers can see how these health-related narratives were consistently present, subtly shaping the way Robyn's role and the resources she received were portrayed within the larger family dynamic. When COVID hit, Sister Wives turned into something almost unrecognizable, not just a family reality show, but a real-time record of how the Browns tore themselves apart over one man's rules. Kody's strict protocols became the central storyline. He laid out pages of regulations, disinfecting groceries, avoiding all social gatherings, wearing masks at home if necessary, and even limiting contact between adult children and their parents. Officially, Kody insisted these rules were about protecting everyone, but in the episodes, it was clear he placed special emphasis on safeguards. Ding Robyn's household, the show made it explicit. Part of Kody's reasoning tied back to Solomon's history with RSV, a respiratory illness that had once landed him in the hospital as a baby. In Kody's mind, the stakes couldn't be higher. No one was to risk bringing COVID into Robyn's home. While the family acknowledged the seriousness of Solomon's condition, this focus created visible tension. Other wives and adult kids felt the protocols were over the top, restrictive, and enforced unevenly. Robyn, for her part, was shown backing Kody at nearly every turn. In confessional after confessional, she said she didn't want to be the reason anyone got sick, framing the rules as necessary acts of love and responsibility. But on screen, the dynamic was hard to ignore. Kody spent the majority of his time at her house, citing the rules as the reason he couldn't freely visit the others. The result was a slow, suffocating fracture. Christine openly questioned whether the rules were really about health, or if they were a convenient way to center Robyn's needs and consolidate Kody's presence in her household. Janelle pushed back, pointing out inconsistencies and the emotional toll on her kids. Viewers were left watching a delicate balancing act between legitimate medical caution and what looked an awful lot like household control, and the more the rules dragged on, the harder it became to believe they were just about keeping everyone safe. On Sister Wives, the differences in how Kody's kids relate to him have been impossible to miss, and they've shaped some of the most telling family moments on camera. Mykelti, for example, often comes across as loyal, cooperative, and willing to keep the peace. Viewers have seen her speak kindly about her dad in confessionals, express understanding of his decisions, and even defend him during tense discussions. In family gatherings, Mykelti's tone is measured, her body language open, the kind of presence that seems to reassure Kody and keep the conversation on his terms. Then there's Gwendolyn. Outspoken, sharp, and unafraid to call things as she sees them, she's given the audience some of the most brutally honest insights into life in the Brown family. On episodes and in her public comments, Gwendolyn hasn't shied away from critiquing Kody's choices, pointing out favoritism, or questioning the fairness of his treatment toward her mom, Christine. This willingness to speak up, whether in a living room scene or a solo interview, often puts her at odds with Kody's narrative. The contrast plays out in subtle but powerful ways. During larger family events, Kody's attention and warmth often flow more easily toward the kids who validate his decisions, while those who push back find themselves on the outskirts, physically and emotionally. Confessionals sometimes reinforce this divide. The golden child voice aligns with Kody's, while the scapegoat voice paints a more conflicted, challenging picture. Over time, these patterns have become part of the show's unspoken tension. Viewers don't have to guess where the emotional lines are drawn. The camera catches it in every side glance, every choice of who gets invited into Kody's inner circle, and every lingering silence when a hard truth is spoken. The confirmed sighting in Las Vegas lit up the Sister Wives fan circles like wildfire. Kody and Robyn spotted out together, but not alone. With them was Robyn's younger sister, a face some viewers recognized from earlier glimpses in family segments. The images and first-hand accounts from that day were clear enough to confirm the outing, but what they meant was another story entirely. For some, the scene instantly triggered speculation. Was this a casual family visit or the first public hint of grooming a potential new sister wife? That reaction didn't come out of nowhere. Longtime Sister Wives viewers have the show's own history and broader patterns in polygamist culture in the back of their minds. TLC has aired multiple examples, both in the Browns' own story and in other plural marriage families, where men married the sisters of existing wives. In the early seasons, the Browns themselves discussed historical and cultural norms within fundamentalist polygamy that allowed or even encouraged such arrangements. Seeing Kody with Robyn's sister in such a visible, casual setting was enough for many to connect the dots, whether fairly or not. Of course, there's another side to the story, one that's far more mundane. Robyn's health and family ties have been central to her life since joining the Browns, and her sister has appeared before as a support figure. A Las Vegas outing could simply be just that, family catching up in a familiar city. But once those images hit social media, the conversation was out of the Browns' hands. Fans and critics alike began dissecting body language, tone, and timing, measuring every detail against the backdrop of polygamist history and the Browns' own complicated marriage dynamics. In a family where every move is scrutinized, even an ordinary afternoon can take on the weight of a storyline. This act centers on the recurring way Sister Wives has presented Robyn's health as both a personal challenge and a quiet source of power in the Brown household. Over the years, TLC has shown Robyn referencing her medical conditions, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, hypoglycemia, and the accommodations they require. Viewers have seen her needing specific routines, additional help in the home, and understanding from the family, often with Kody standing firmly in her corner. Kody's loyalty in these situations has been undeniable. Episodes have repeatedly shown him prioritizing Robyn's needs, defending her choices, and at times creating distance from his other wives to ensure her comfort. When Robyn has voiced struggles, either about fatigue, stress, or family conflict, it's often accompanied by Kody stepping in as her protector. That protection sometimes extends into broader household rules, such as the strict COVID protocols, which he openly linked to safeguarding vulnerable family members. There have also been moments, documented on the show, where Robyn appeared hesitant towards certain medical interventions or leaned into needing assistance from others. These moments weren't portrayed as dramatic refusals, but as part of a larger pattern of framing her as delicate, careful, and in need of extra care, a dynamic that subtly reinforces her central place in Kody's daily life. For viewers, this creates an ongoing tension. Is the narrative one of genuine health management, or of a carefully maintained role that ensures Robyn's importance in the family structure? TLC leaves enough gaps in the explanation to keep fans debating. The unanswered questions linger, not because of off-camera rumor, but because of how the show itself edits, presents, and repeats this storyline season after season. It all started with that quiet, unsettling moment, Robyn's mystery illness hanging in the air, and the whispers about Kody's closeness with her younger sister. We've traced the patterns, the on-air moments, the choices that have shaped the Brown family's story for years. But if these dynamics, the loyalty to one wife above all, the carefully protected health narrative, the divisions between children, keep playing out, where does that leave everyone else? Imagine a future where the same voices get louder, the same faces take center stage, and the rest fade into the background. What happens to a family when the balance is never restored? That's the question Sister Wives keeps leaving us with, and it's one only time, and maybe the Browns themselves can answer. I'm Sarah, and this is TLC Sister Wives Daily. I'd love to hear your take. Do you think these patterns will change, or are we watching history repeat itself? Make sure you subscribe so you never miss the real story behind Sister WS.